Hello, everyone. Today I am with Kim. She is a powerhouse. You'll find out more why. First off, how are you feeling? We just finished a stretch session with her, and she came feeling some kind of feedback around her back. So, how do you feel right now?
Uh, Quite relaxed and released. So, at the beginning, before I came, I had tweaked part of my back, and that's completely relaxed now. And actually, my hips are quite loose, and even the work just outside of the hips and throughout the body have now made everything just much looser. And so, quite relaxed. And actually, because of that, I feel like my posture is even better. So even just sitting here right now, it's not as forced as if if I have a little bit of pain, sometimes will uh, overextend
Or tend to
or,
lean on one
yeah,
side
or
more
just
than the
lean to
other?
one side because you're like, oh, I'll just take the pressure off, you know what I mean? But now that it's not there, I don't feel the need to do anything like that. So,
Beautiful. So, the
mm,
stretch therapy that I do is very decompressing in nature. So, it's the point behind every single stretch is to create space. Because life as it is, it compresses us on every single joint, bringing you into flexion, putting more load on your body, on your spine. Gravity is working 24 hours. You can use that alignment or that space to work with gravity. But if you're consistently in that positioning in which you're forward and
mm-hmm.
internally rotated, it results in gravity working against you. And our lifestyle, they create more stiffness. And then your sitting create more stiffness. So it becomes almost sort of like a never ending cycle or hamster wheel that you can get out of. I find the work
Mm-hmm.
that I do on the table certainly helps in terms of opening things up and not
Mm-hmm.
only alleviating that discomfort, but leaving you with better posture, integrity, and function.
Yes. So the overcompensation is a lot less once I'm able to do this and do it consistently. So if I'm only
Absolutely.
doing it once in a while, like obviously if I have a injury or something like that, I'll come right away.
Hmm.
And, even when you exercise all the time, even when you do all the right things, everyone's still going to get injured. But I think that if you're consistently working on yourself, your recovery is a lot better. So,
Yeah,
for example, something like this that happened, if this were to happen to me 10 years ago, this is a month of back pain. This is a
that's true.
month
Yep.
of all of this. And now this is like 2 days and I'm feeling better.
Yeah,
Right.
that's great. That's the
And
beauty of having a good fascial integrity, fascial quality throughout the body. And
mm-hmm,
once you do things properly, not just limiting to the table work, but also
mm-hmm,
maintaining your alignment, just observing your posture and bringing in those principles of grounding engagement and your mindful breathing changes your structure of the fascia quite a bit just because you are subjecting your body through a different kind of loading pattern. So tell us something about your Kim. You said lifts and all that. She does lifts. I mean, she lifts. She does a lot of lifts. And she's very consistent with the workout. So give us a quick summary on the things you do with your body and what initially 4 years ago we've been working together for almost 4 years now,
yes,
since 2021, I believe so, when
yes,
Melanie connected us.
yes.
So what brought you to me, irrespective of the work that you were doing, and what's been the progress during this process of working together?
So initially, I started with like I've been active my whole life doing sports, but never lifting
Yes,
or being in the gym per se. It was just,
the
you know,
hockey is your
yeah. So
yeah.
I started with hockey, and
Hmm.
then being in the gym was, I would say, inconsistently consistent, right? So I
Hmm.
would go, but it wouldn't be consistent. But I definitely do it at least a couple times a month or something like that, but not enough to make a change,
Yeah.
right? And so I started doing some kind of like CrossFit in classes. And then I met my trainer that I have now, and
Hmm.
we just started doing just a bit of bodybuilding. And then gradually got into powerlifting. And so now I'm doing that, quite consistently, and I'm lifting quite heavy 3 to 4 days a week. And then
Yep.
I'm also playing racket sports. So, for example, squash and pickleball and tennis. So,
Hmm.
those kinds of movements, like quick bursts and like that can cause a lot. And when I'm sitting at my desk, because I have a desk job,
Hmm.
that can cause a lot of like tennis elbow and things like that. So if you're not constantly working on those types of things, then that can be a problem. So the reason I came at the beginning
Hmm.
was because I was starting to lift more consistently, and I just wanted to focus on my health. Like truly, I would rather live a quality life long than living long, but maybe not having that quality, right?
Beautifully
Because
said. Yeah.
if I was at the desk all the time and I had back pain. I literally had back pain every day. I had, when I would play hockey, one time I was just in the warm up and I went to skate the other way and I just tweaked my back, and that was months of pain, and that
Rehabilitation.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was because it affected the nerve. And not to say that everything is perfect, but if you're not working towards having some kind of balance, it won't happen, right? So doing this is helping me to create some mobility and be less stiff, because the exercise and all of this movement that I'm doing every week, a lot of it is very controlled movement, where it's
Yes.
there's lifts and then there's a lot of bursts. So there's nothing in between that connects everything, right? So if somebody's doing a lot of walking, but then they're also doing a lot of sitting, like, where is that in between movement that you need to connect?
And that's
right?
where I come in.
Yes.
That's where I come in. So that's beautifully said. Someone who is actually active and also sitting a lot. Now the paradox with that is when you sit quite a bit, you create tension, stiffness in the body. Now you start to move, you think you're doing something good for your body, but technically you aren't, just because now you're going to move how the body is adapted. So which means the areas that are stiff, they aren't going to pitch in, and the areas that are available to you, they're not meant to pitch into the amount or the capacity. They start pitching in, and then you have problems. The problems resulting in shoulder discomfort, neck pain, back pain, knee issues, and addressing that on a fundamental level, just opening I would say, the mobile areas introduces more stability for the stable areas. Example would be if your hips rotate really well, then your back doesn't have to rotate as much around the lumbar region when you move around, whether you're walking, whether you're playing sports. And that was my focus and intent working with Kim, just to improve her shoulder mobility, improve her hip mobility, making sure T-spine moves the way it's supposed to move, the psoas is not inhibited, and rest everything I knew that she's going to fly with the principles. And now when it comes down to the principles I coach, grounding, engaging, and mindful breathing, which to me is a skill that leads to your posture. I worked on it personally for the last 10 years, and I find I don't even have to think about, just having a straight alignment. You've probably seen me for 4 years. You've never seen me in a bad positioning. It's not because I'm thinking anymore, because those principles have sort of become part of me in such an intimate way that anything that I do, my body automatically grounds. My breathing pattern is very, very parasympathetic. I'm connected to my diaphragm. Every breath out, I find myself getting connected to my core. And I stay very present as a result of that, which switches my demeanor, how I deal with things and everything. So there are a lot of viewers probably who are watching who are not in Toronto, who can't really capitalize on coming to me just to get worked on the table. But I know there's a deeper layer to it, the things you have taken from our communication.
Yes.
I would love to hear, how do you find the gym philosophy or my posture focus has shifted your mindset in terms of your lifestyle and your function?
Well, it's almost an everyday. Like even right now, I'm making sure while I'm sitting here that my core is engaged, even my chest. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I've got to work on back because my back hurts and got back problems and I've got to work on my back." But
And
it's
that
it's
seems
actually
natural. Yeah.
it's a natural thing that people say, but it's actually, you need to do some chest work and you need to do some leg work and you need to do some core and back all together to create that stability. Because if I just did a bunch of back, I'd be like this.
That's a really interesting
And
point. I'm going to add something to it. Now, how can chest work help with a tight chest? If your pecs are tight, neurologically, you're wired in a way that this muscle is being used for breathing quite a bit too. Just because you are in the flex position, you don't access your diaphragm. So now, if you try to use your back muscles, you're not going to get access to them because this is going to be so tight. It's not going to pull you back. But in a proper full range chest press, you're going all the way back. So at the end range, you're creating an active stretch in that muscle. So now you start to lengthen the muscle that's tight through the movement by intentionally trying to create more strength in that area, which paradoxically works to create balance. You can now access the posterior chain to strengthen your back. Balance workouts are very crucial, which is why I assume you work with a trainer as well, just to create that rhythm. Carry on with your thought.
So so that's, there's one thing where it's like all of those combined allow me to have that balance, right? But as if I'm not creating any mobility or stretching the fascia, then that won't work. So for example, If I'm starting at, maybe I'm trying to do dips and all of a sudden I'm getting in quite deep and, I haven't done them in a while, I can feel that it's tight there. And like just at the beginning, I have all of this tightness where it's like, okay, then you need to start moving this part around a bit. Then we work on that. Right. So,
so it's almost anything that you do becomes something that guides you to what needs to be worked on within the body.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like there are things that we do to maintain, but then as life happens, and it happens because everyone thinks that, I don't want people to think that, oh, if I do all of these, it's the end all be all. No, we're all human. Like things happen.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
as you do things to maintain, but then you also do things to help as you go. And that's why this work is here. So it's for regular maintenance, but it's also for the times when you actually need it, right? When I'm like, okay, I've played too much pickleball or squash or tennis
and your
this
body's
week,
in a pickle,
and and it's like it's not feeling great, right?
Yeah.
I hold my phone and I'm like, oh, I can feel that down my arm.
Yes.
And then the other ways is, and we've been working together for 4 years.
Yes.
So I'll be honest, it takes me a long time to incorporate something new. So for example, when you're like, use your core, use, certain parts of your body when you're doing things. So for example, when I was in yoga stretch the other day and we were doing something, I was really engaging my core to make sure that my back wasn't overcompensating. And so those things slowly stick in my head, but it's not going to be immediate. And I think people put a lot of pressure on themselves to be like, I'm going to start doing this and it's going to be the first 6 months and it's going to be great. No, it's going to be, you just have to be consistent, even if it's inconsistently consistent.
Yeah, it's
just
a process.
Start, even if it's 5 minutes a week. Who cares?
Yeah.
There's no big deal.
Yeah.
You want to just go to the gym and walk on the treadmill for the first 3 months. Who cares?
Yeah.
Do that. You don't even have
with
to
integrity, with attention in the core, with attention in the body and posture.
As soon as you have intention and then you start doing it, it will come.
Absolutely. And it's not about an end goal at the end of the day. Your body is an adaptive unit. I always say it's consistently adapting. It is going to adapt. It's adapting right now as you watch this. And either you consciously guide the adaptation or become a victim of it. Just your body is wherever it is. If you have any physical pain, it took it decades to get to that point. And it's not going to take the same amount of time just to revert it back.
Yeah.
But it takes time to understand the things. And what Kim is trying to say is with her consistent work with me and taking in all that information made the understanding of these concepts a little bit more deeper to the point it became a knowing. And now she is starting to sort of utilize posture more, as a second nature. It's in a background, and you're able to know when you're not there too, which is also a big step. If you can notice yourself, okay, I'm not in a good posture, that's also a positive thing, because the moment you notice, who is noticing? And that brings you out of your mind, brings you back into your body, and that shifts things. And that's where I find the grounding, engagement, and mindfulness in these two things is really paramount to apply posture. Not only it helps you on the physical level, but personally, I found that it brings a certain level of spiritual alignment, calm demeanor. So in tough events in our life, and you're dealing with things which bring your stress levels quite high. We're having a conversation about that earlier too.
Yeah.
And how does that impact your body the moment you get back into your body and exit your mind? It makes you feel more present. Did you notice that too, in terms of that helping you on those psychosomatic or emotional side of things, finding that application of posture and working on these things, has it switched your demeanor towards life to some extent? Because you went through a lot too. We don't have to go into all of it, but
no, it absolutely has. It absolutely has in so many levels. From allowing yourself to be comfortable with yourself and allowing yourself to have, the space to do what you want to do, and the confidence too.
Absolutely.
Right? So you don't, and sometimes you don't even notice it until other people notice it. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I found, is like other people were noticing and making comments in a positive way, where it hadn't even triggered in my brain yet. I was doing the things that I knew were right, but it hadn't changed my mindset. And when other people started noticing, then I started changing how I thought. And so little by little, it gives you the confidence to do more things. You're like, oh, I feel better, so maybe I can say yes to this instead of maybe saying no. So for example, when a lot of people say to me, oh, my doctor said to take it easy and to rest, I do not do that ever. I do not do that.
So what do you do?
What do? I'm careful. So for example, remember with my leg, I pinched my nerve so bad that my shin went numb, and everyone would be like, you should never deadlift. That would probably be the worst thing in the world. No, I kept doing it. I engaged my core, and nothing was worse or better or anything like that. And I actually found when I sat more, the muscles got stiff, and then it actually made it worse. So when I did the movement, that's fine, but I did it in a way that I had proper mechanics, and I'm doing it with my trainer, and so we were doing it the right way. Obviously, we weren't lifting 300 pounds off the ground, but it was a light enough weight, and it just kept the movement going, and we slowly worked up to it. And then with seeing you and working on that and doing a combination of things, but it was very helpful, and it was a lot faster. And it would have been, I imagine it would have been 6 to 9 months of recovery, where I probably had 3 months, and the first 3 weeks were the worst, right? But I'm living proof that you can do that.
No, absolutely. And I'm not exempted from these undulation of the life predicaments too. I go through similar pain patterns as well, but no one knows why, because my lifestyle will not show. I never stop, but I'm always tuned in. So now if you have any kind of back pain, my SI has the tendencies just to go off, but the moment that happens, I'm tuned in into my posture. I will work on my body. I will release the muscles that are actually tight as a result of that. But most importantly, I will carry myself in a way that I'm not creating that more stiffness. That's going to impact my recovery. If your back is hurting and your back has to work to lag you around because your hips are not moving the way they're supposed to move, it's going to take a lot longer. That's why doctors are going to be like, no, don't do anything at all, because they know you're not moving really well. But technically, most of them are not equipped enough to tell you anything on movement, because that's not what they learn in school. So you're absolutely right. The moment you have any kind of predicament, I find that application of the posture and tuning yourself in, working on your body, working on strength, it makes the recovery a lot faster. Something that used to sort of stay with me for months, now it doesn't stay with me for more than 24 to 48 hours. It's crazy. I rolled my ankle in a way that could have been a full breakage, but the fascia quality was so good. I just walked away with minor discomfort, and I was still able to work. When there was actual little bit of swelling, 24 hours later, I could still put the weight on it. It was crazy. Our bodies have the capacity to become literally indestructible. You see a toddler, they move with a finesse because they don't have any resistance. It's not because they have a lot of muscle on the body and a lot of strength. It's because they don't have any resistance, and the force transmission is very consistent through the body. So application of posture, application of GEM, work on yourself, getting worked by other people who know your body really, really well, goes a long way, not just in terms of improving your function, but also educating you in a way that you don't have to stay a victim of life in any capacity.
No.
Right?
No, you don't. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kim, for taking time to do this. I know you were so relaxed. I'm like, oh, you're going to make me talk now. And if you guys find this helpful, just leave a comment. If anything that you are experiencing within your body and you think that I can offer some kind of guidance, just write it down, leave a comment. I would love to make another video just to help you guide how GEM can help you improve your predicament and improve your function. Your body is adapting all the time, and it needs your guidance to move in the right direction. Just like a child, when they are fussing, you don't start yelling. You listen to them. Okay, what do you actually need? And then you help and change the behavior. Your body's no different. If it's hurting, it needs your attention, it needs your guidance, so it can do what it's meant to do, because we're living in a world, our lifestyles are really unnatural, but your attention and awareness doesn't have to. All right. So I hope this is helpful for you. Again, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
And I'll be back with someone else to share some more fantastic insights on how people apply all of this. And thank you for tuning in. And remember to like, share, subscribe to my channel, because that small little details, all these things, they do help me feel motivated to share more stuff with you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.